I think that this started because when I was younger, in middle school, high school, I never felt like I was desirable for a few reasons. Number one, I was really outgoing and loud and whatever. And I think that wasn't as maybe appealing to the boys that I liked for whatever reason. So there was that. Also, I was a late bloomer physically. I went through puberty really late. So, like, I looked a bit younger, and obviously, boys at that age, they're like, everybody's bodies are changing. And I think these boys are growing up. They're now realizing what they're attracted to, and it's more developed, and I was not. So they were not physically attracted to me. And they made that very clear by calling me flat and stuff like that, saying I had no boobs, no butt, whatever. And I was kind of awkward and like nervous around boys. So like anytime they would show interest in me, I'd always fuck it up. I've always felt sort of uncomfortable and insecure about my abilities with boys. I got a bit older and it was time to start dating. And the boys that I liked were always the boys that were hard to get. Guys that didn't like me at first. Guys that only give me the time of day sometimes. Guys that I'm nervous around, that like their approval means everything to me because I feel like I've won if they end up liking me back, right? Whereas a guy who's really sweet and just organically likes me out the gate and I don't have to win him over or fight a bunch of other girls to get him, that's not as exciting. That's not as satisfying. That doesn't boost my self-esteem as much, right? And I need that self-esteem boost, or I did need that self-esteem boost because in middle school and high school, my self-esteem was completely shot. And then going into adulthood and actual real dating, I was not looking for a happy relationship. I was looking for a boost of self-esteem, ultimately. I think that's why, all of my first few relationships were such a catastrophe. Number one, I was choosing guys that were emotionally unavailable for me. I was also choosing guys that like a lot of other people like. So it was like I was trying to win in a way, which is weird. And then I was choosing guys that I was so intimidated by that I could never fully be myself around them. And I was choosing this type of guy just because by being with them, I feel like it's erasing the feelings of inadequacy that I had as a young teenager. Now, the problem was it started as sort of this thing like, I just like these guys that are challenges for me, right? Like I like the challenge. It helps boost my self-esteem, blah, blah, blah. But then it became more than that. It became an emotional crutch where I liked dating guys that made me anxious, made me feel like shit, confused me, intimidated me because it was a distraction from my other anxieties. If I could be anxious about the boy I like or the boy I'm dating, I'm so distracted, I'm not worried about anything else. And there was something sort of soothing about that in a very weird, twisted way that I barely even understand myself, and I'm the one who was doing it, okay? So it did eventually become an emotional crutch where like I became used to dating guys that were avoidant. It was a distraction for me. And the push and the pull of it was so riveting and exciting. And it was so emotionally turbulent for me. And like they didn't even know half the time what I was going through. Like they thought everything was fine. Everybody around me thought everything was fine. But deep down, I'm like, I'm constantly trying to win this guy over. I don't know if he loves me. I don't believe that he loves me. I don't think he's going to want to marry me. I don't want to ask him. I don't know if this guy even wants to have kids. Is this somebody I'm going to be with forever? Like, he's so hard to hold down. He's so all over the place. Oh my God. I love him so much. He's like amazing. I'm putting him on a pedestal because he's so hard to get, and like hard to get means better, right? Like, I don't know. It was just this whole fucking mess, right? But when you're all caught up in that shit, how the hell are you going to have time to be anxious about anything else?